Hi guys! Since the beginning of the year, I've been using a B6 Stalogy notebook as a daily planner. So I wanted to go through it with you and show you how I've been using it and talk about why I like it. I keep it in a B6 holographic cover from Choose to Do. If you're not familiar with Choose to Do, they're a really fantastic company that makes all kinds of beautiful vegan traveler's notebook covers and binder covers and folio style covers, so I'll leave them linked down below. I keep a Kaweco Sport rose gold pen in here, and I really like that. It's a medium size. If you can hear huffing and puffing in the background, that's my dog Petpet. She's decided to join me for the video, and she might make a surprise appearance, I'm not sure. I just have a piece of blossing paper here for the fountain pen, and this is a jelly cover from Salty Katie, whose covers I absolutely love. I'll leave her link down below as well. So I just got some vinyl decals to decorate the cover, and this was a freebie that came with it, 2020, which is the year that I started it, although I don't think that I will finish it in 2020. I'll probably use it beyond that, but I thought it would be a nice memento of the year when I started using it. And this just says #planner, and then there's just some like cute little images, and then on the back it says caffeine loading, which I thought was really cool. So I somehow ended up giving this a kind of astrological theme on the inside. It just sort of happened. I didn't really set out to do that from the beginning, but I ended up really liking it. So these are just some vellums that I got from a UK-based Etsy shop called HR Handmade, which I'll also leave linked down below. These are just really beautiful. And then I decorated the front page with some Mambi stickers from the Free Spirit sticker book, I think. The one that has the zodiac signs in it. So I left this first page blank because it's the one that, you know, kind of is at a funny angle, and I just put some washi tape on the side so that it wouldn't get torn up, as I did with this as well, just because I, you know, kind of flip these back and forth a lot. So the thing that I really like about Stalogies is that they have beautiful paper. It's very thin, similar to Tomoe River paper. It also takes fountain pen really well. So as you can see, I've just been using fountain pen all through this, and there's absolutely no bleed through. It's really nice paper. It has a very, very nice, satisfying feel. Really similar to Tomoe River paper, also like quite thin. It's white, kind of like the paper on the Hobonichi Cousin and the A6. And it has a grid paper. That's Petpet. She might come into the frame at any time now. No? She's staying just outside. Oh, there she is. That's her nose. Hello. Want to come into the video? No? She's just going to stand right next to me while I'm filming and stare at my planner, which is totally fine. She's also a planner girl. So I like this, and I decided to use this as a daily planner because it is kind of like the best of both worlds. It's undated. And so that means that, you know, you can use it at any time, which is ideal for a daily planner, because for a daily planner, I just want to plan out my day, make a list of my tasks and my appointments, but I don't have to refer back and forth, so I don't really care about consistency from one day to the next. And a dated daily planner would make me nervous because there would be days when I wouldn't use it, and then, you know, I'd have blank pages, which we all hate. So you don't have that problem with something like a Stalogy. But what's really cool about it is, first of all, that at the top, very, very faintly, so it's easy to ignore if you don't want to, but if you do want it, you can circle the day in the week, sorry, the day in the month and the date. And then what I like even better is that here on the side it has an hourly layout going from 7 AM to 11 PM, which is really cool. I especially like the fact that it goes quite late. Sorry, that's sideways, but hopefully you can see it if it will focus. That says 11 PM down there. I don't think it's going to focus. So I really like that, because that means that not only can I make a to-do list, I can also like chart out my activities by the hour, which is really helpful. But then if you don't want it, you can just ignore it, and then you just have a nice gridded notebook. And it's, you know, this very kind of like delicate gray print, so it's really easy to ignore any of this if you don't need it. So the thing that I like about having a daily planner is that sometimes I just want to be able to map out my whole day, work and personal together, and see how long I think everything will take. So normally I use this to kind of map out my day the night before, just to get an idea if what I've been planning is actually realistic and how it's going to look, because I have a work planner which has an hourly layout. That's the Hobonichi cousin. And then I also have a personal planner which doesn't have an hourly layout. And I like keeping work and personal separate, but I also sometimes just like to see how it's all going to look. So I started using this right at the beginning of the year, in fact, on the 3rd of January. And so what I would do is like kind of circle the time when I was thinking of getting up or starting to do things. And I have been using this to indicate the date and the day and the month, just so that I know for reference afterwards. So like now I remember that, you know, I started this on the 3rd of January, which I wouldn't remember otherwise. And then I would like kind of just map out all of the activities. So this was actually a day off. I didn't really have to do this, but I was just excited to have my new planner and I wanted to try it out. So what I've normally been doing is I really like the fact that you can chart out like, you know, exactly kind of from 1 hour to the next, and it's got spaces for the half hour. So like if you can see here, it's got, let's say this is 10 in the morning, and then this line is 10:30. So it doesn't label the half hours, but they're there, they have their own line. So you can really make a very precise timeline if you want to, which is something that I like about this in comparison to the original Hobonichi, the A6 Hobonichi, because that has a timeline, but it's really squished. So if you want to like kind of be able to see things by the half hour, the A6 Hobonichi isn't ideal for that, for me anyway. I know some people find it works well, but I like to have a bit more room and a bit more granularity. And I think that the B6 is a perfect size because it's not as overwhelmingly big as an A5. It feels like a little bit less of a commitment, but it's roomy enough that you can really, you know, kind of make a good solid detailed plan, which I feel like I have difficulty doing with an A6. That just feels a little bit too small for me. So I think it's a really nice size. So at some point quite early on, I started making a list of top 3. So again, this is really nice because you have this beautiful open layout. So you can use the hourly spread and then put the top 3 up at the top. And then there's also enough room that I could generally then map out what actually happened if I wanted to. So like, for example, I had this grand plan to get up early, and as you can see, that didn't happen because I ended up sleeping much later, which is a perennial problem of mine. So from here on, I started writing the top 3 pretty consistently on the top right corner of the page. And that was just really nice because it's an extra thing that I don't do in my work planner or my personal planner, and that's because as a daily planner I merge work and personal, so this is really just a vision for my whole day. And so you can see that the top 3 includes all kinds of different things. So these first 2 are work tasks that I wanted to get done, and then go to the cinema is another one, and that's because in the before time, you know, pre-virus, James and I used to like going to the cinema as our kind of like, you know, thing that we would do to go out together, like a date night. And we always found it really difficult, me particularly, because I'm always tired. So I would always like want to go to the cinema, but then like really struggle to get the dogs fed and walked and get out the door in time. So that's why this was a goal, because we really wanted to go to the cinema. And so a lot of times I would just, you know, kind of like map out my whole day, even if there was a big chunk of time. Here I was working with somebody on a work project together, and I had gone out to the university, and then there was, you know, this plan which we actually did achieve. We went to see Little Women, we did it. Now this all, you know, seems like so far away, like the time when we used to go to the cinema and I used to go out to work, because now I just stay at home all the time, which I actually really enjoy, and I'm working from home. So I just really liked being able to map out my day and see what I was going to do and what I wanted to happen, and like see whether or not there's actually enough time for it, because having the hourly layout with the half hours, each having their own line, you can really see whether it's realistic what you have in mind, and also like how the things all slot together. The reason that I like having this separate from my work planner, hello, you're back. Do you want people to see more than your nose, or just your nose? No, just the nose. So with my work planner, even though I have an hourly layout and it also shows the half hours, I don't like to mix work and personal, because for some reason it makes me feel uncomfortable to see things like, I don't know, change the sheets right next to my work stuff. And it used to be also that, you know, like I would take this into work and other people would see it, and so I didn't want to have too much personal stuff in it. But it really helps to just be able to see exactly what's going to happen and have like the breaks taken into account and everything like kind of all together. And then again with the top 3, sometimes they're only work. This is a dog heavy video. Sometimes it's all work related and sometimes it's a mix. And I think that this is actually quite helpful, having this daily planner like this, because that means that I tend to like sort of emphasize work stuff and think that like everything that I have to accomplish is to do with work, and if it's not to do with work then it's not so important and I can let it slide. So having the top 3 and making sure that they're a mix of work and personal things is kind of a nice way of prioritizing, like kind of, you know, forcing myself to prioritize non-work things as well, which I want to do. So I was using this quite regularly all throughout January. Not every day, but I would say most days, and it's something that I really enjoyed doing. Just like, you know, kind of 5 minutes at the end of the day, just mapping out what I was thinking for the next day. And I didn't do a top 3 every day, so you can see like this day I didn't do one. It depended on whether it was like this was a day off, and so I just really enjoyed mapping out my day, and so I did it for fun, even though I didn't have any things that I absolutely had to get done on that day. But on most days I did. And I continued through February. Sometimes I added a bonus, so like for example I'd have my top 3 and then sometimes I think, oh, but I'd really like to do this other thing as well, and so then I'd add it as a bonus, because like, I don't know, the convention seems to be top 3, not like top 4, so I was writing top 3, but sometimes I actually had 4. And I generally didn't mark off whether I'd done these things or not, because this is more something that I would do beforehand, just to kind of get an idea of what I sort of wanted my day to look like, to like get a real feel for it. And then I generally wouldn't come back to it. During the day I would normally just work from my work planner or my personal planner. And then I would go back at the end of the day to see whether I'd achieved these top 3. Sometimes I would have it out during the day, but you can see that this is more like a scheduler rather than like a working planner, if you know what I mean. Like I wouldn't work from this and write notes on it. I would do that in my work planner for the most part, and then to a lesser extent in my personal planner. So this is now getting into March, and I was using it pretty much in the same way. And then for some reason, when lockdown hit, this was right around here, so I filled this in, looks like April, I think maybe a couple of times. This was right before lockdown. I think these were like the last, yeah, so that was cinema. That was like the last couple of times that, and I met some students in Starbucks, and then I didn't use it again for a few weeks. And the funny thing is that there is no practical reason for this, because I kept working. So we switched to online teaching and the campus closed in mid-March. And I kind of remember like this was right around the time that this was PlannerCon San Francisco, and I was going to go to San Francisco for PlannerCon, and that weekend was like kind of when I realized that, like, you know, things were really changing rapidly and I wasn't going to be able to go. So I didn't go to PlannerCon, which was really, really upsetting. But in retrospect, you know, it compared to, you know, kind of everything that happened afterwards, I was like, well, yeah, like, you know, that seems like something from a bygone era. And I was working a lot because we were working from home, but we had to very quickly switch all of our teaching online, and we were having all kinds of meetings to do with, you know, like kind of what to do about exams. replacing exams with some kind of alternative assessment that students could do at home. And it was, you know, there was really a lot of work, and it's actually continued right up until now. We've just been working flat out, but at home. So it was a big change, but I used to work at home a lot anyway. So like whenever I wasn't teaching or meeting with a colleague, or I didn't have meetings, I would stay at home and work at home. So like for most of these days, I was at home most of the day. So I really don't know why I stopped using it, except that somehow I think psychologically everything was just like, and you know, I think a lot of us just felt like that. It was just like, everything was just so like kind of, you know, weird and surreal feeling that I just stopped. I kept using my work planner just like normal and my personal planner, but I just stopped using this, and I missed it. So I kept seeing it on the shelf and thinking I'd really like to go back to that. And for some reason I didn't until, I think I used it like maybe twice in April. And then I came back to it now, so like a couple of weeks ago in mid-July, so the 14th of July. And I don't know what changed, because I'm still staying at home, I'm still working from home, like doing everything from home. So there's really no practical reason to start using it again. I just somehow felt like in the headspace that it became helpful to me again, and I wanted to use it. And I've been using it reasonably consistently ever since then. So like not every day, but it's now near the end of July, and I've used it quite a lot. And this is the thing that I think is so great about Stalogy, is that it makes absolutely no difference. So I don't have any blank pages. If I'd been using something like a Moleskine, which I have done in the past, I've used a Moleskine daily planner, and I love them, except that they don't take fountain pen well, which is annoying. But if I had just, you know, stepped away from it for like 3 months, I would have this unsightly chunk of blank pages, which would really, really irritate me. And with this, it's perfect because I don't have to write the days in myself. So this is also something that I don't know why, but it really annoys me to have to write in the days. You know, the planners that are undated and they give you like a kind of blank, like a line and then a dash where you can write in like the day and the month and the year. For some reason, that really bugs me. Something about it looks kind of, it reminds me of like a form to fill in or like a school worksheet. I don't know why, but having it like this, where it's got the days and the months written out and you just have to circle it or underline it, I like that much better. Just aesthetically, the look of it pleases me. So I really like the fact that it is dated, so that when I, you know, like for this video, I can say, well, the last time I used it was in March, and then I used it twice in April, and then I didn't use it again until July. So I get a feel of what I was doing, and I can see like, oh, when was I doing that? Oh, that was in January. So I really like that, because it's also very cleanly laid out. Because it's so minimalist and open, it really lets you do whatever you want to do with it, and I really like that. So for me, this hourly format where I draw a line from the time when I start an activity to the time when it stops, so that I can see this timeline going down the day, I really like that. And I think it's just somehow makes a nice pattern so that I can go back and see visually what my days looked like. You know, like this was a particularly busy day with lots of different activities. This had less going on. There was like one major block of a job that I was working on for a lot of the time. Sometimes it doesn't go exactly like this, but for the most part, it's, you know, this is kind of pretty much the shape of the day, and then I can see how many of these top 3 I got done. And if I didn't get them done that day, I usually despair, but then generally I'll get them done within the next couple of days, and then I'll feel a bit better. You know, looking back, I'm like, well, I was really panicking about this, not having done it, but like now I've done it and it's okay. So I feel like it really adds a dimension to my planner lineup, because it's there when I need it, but there's no pressure to use it if I don't need it. And that's why I think that this is a perfect setup for something like that. It also has the option, like I mentioned, for writing down a list of other things, like what I actually did down the side, or writing a list of to-dos. But because I use this in the way that I do, as more of a scheduler and like a way of mapping out the framework of my day, I don't use it like that for to-do lists. I have the to-do list in my personal planner and my work planner, and I've never felt the need to use this like that. So I guess in a way it's kind of like not really a daily planner in the sense of like, you know, this is what I'm working in all day. It's more of a like before the day planner the night before the day, where I just want to see what my day is going to look like. And it also kind of helps me to writing this down again. So this is my plan for tomorrow. This is what I want to do tomorrow. And some of these things are activities like timed events which are happening, where I'm meeting with other people on Zoom or Microsoft Teams, and so they're fixed. And then other things are things that I want to fit in between them, so they might not actually happen. And those are the things that I generally write down in the top 3, because the meetings will happen anyway. I just turn up to them and then they'll happen. But the things that I have to make sure myself, like I'd like to upload this video because I'm filming it at night and I won't be able to upload it tonight probably, so I'd like to get that done. Then I'd like to finish a reference that I'm writing, and I have to pick up a prescription. So those are things that kind of rely on me, like nobody else is going to, you know, like push me to do them. So I really want to make sure that those get done and I can write that down, and it gives me some kind of a framework where I feel like I've like, okay, I know what my priorities are tomorrow, and I also know what the shape of my day looks like. And then I just kind of generally have it open on the table, and I'll look at it from time to time to make sure that what I'm actually doing kind of lines up with this. So that's how I've been using this planner, and I really, really like it, and I just intend to keep on using this until it's finished. So I just put some more astrological vellum on the back. These were A5 size, and I cut them down to B6, which is the limit of my vellum artistry skills. And sometimes I just take it out of the cover and use it like this. The only thing about this is that it doesn't have a pen loop, and I haven't wanted to put a Leuchtturm pen loop on this because I really like the clean look of it, and quite often I put it in a cover anyway. So yeah, this just feels like a nice trusty little companion that will tell me what my day is like and help me get through it. And it actually makes me excited to plan out the next day, and it kind of gives me something like it's like a way of starting the day the night before, so that I already kind of feel excited about it, just because I really enjoy writing in this. So I hope that you enjoyed this. I will be back soon with another video. I'm going to take a bit of time off soon so that I can make a lot more videos, because I want to show you my most recent planner lineup, and I've got some other planners that I want to show you as well. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!